Wos. Mixed martial arts pro tryouts. All right, this was a mixed martial arts MMA tryouts that I actually did for a pro team back in 2010. It was an upcoming organization that I guess was trying to get a pro team going in MMA cage fighting. So I tried out for it, and I mean I did pretty well. Um, the organization actually went under, so the show never happened. But this tryout was a good experience, and it was part of my journey. So, which I forgot to add in my martial art journey video I made a couple weeks ago. But this is part of my journey too. The tryouts consisted of warming up first, then they give you a bunch of exercises to do, like burpees, running back and forward, push-ups, a lot of cardio stuff to push you to get you tired. So before we did anything, we had to do a bunch of exercises, which was at least I say anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. So that really pushed us and get us really tired. At least I was, kind of slightly getting tired from the exercises. But that's part of the game. You just have to push yourself. And also they wanted to see who can do the exercises, who can last, because that's part of the evaluation to see if you can get through the workouts, get through the exercises, because it's a big part. The condition, the cardio. If you can't do the conditioning and the exercising and the going back and forward and push-ups and burpees, then it's going to be hard for you to even last in the fight. So other than the exercises and the conditioning workouts, we had to do grappling, which is standing up and then you try to take your opponent down and submit them. Then we did some kickboxing, some striking on the mat, and then we had the cage fight. So I did at least an hour of grappling on the mat. So I grappled 4 people, and then I did striking, kickboxing with 1 person. So it's a combination of 5 people before I went into the cage. So it was at least an hour plus the conditioning workout. So top in an hour and 20 minutes before I went to the cage. How was this organization that I was trying out for? How much I knew about it? I knew nothing about it. I just did it. I just wanted to try out for a pro team. I did it, and to me, in my opinion, it was very unorganized. It just seemed very skeptical at first, because the guy that you see here that I'm actually rolling with, which I actually fought in the cage, he actually came to the tryouts maybe 45 minutes late. So he didn't even do any conditioning. He did no conditioning at all. He did none of the workouts. He just basically grapple and maybe some of the striking on the mat, and then went to the cage. So he was kind of fresh when he came in. But from what I noticed, that they had select couple guys already from prior who they wanted to fight in this organization. So they already had the guys that they wanted already. So because I never really filled out any paperwork or any contract or nothing like that, so they already selected who they wanted. So I think, well, I know this tryout was rigged. It was set up in a way so that these guys could be highlighted. So it's just one of those things where you always, as I said before, you always want to ask questions and ask why and how. Always question things. Never just think it's like that and just do it. So you always want to question what you're doing. So as I said, this is an experience, and this is what I went through, and it's part of my martial art journey, and it made me stronger. So basically I'm just here, just rolling around. This is one of the grappling matches I had. I wasn't able to get a whole lot of other footages because I actually just found this now And I was like, oh wow, this is one of my tryouts that I have from way back. So I'm missing couple roles that I had with the other guys. So, and also if you notice in the videos here that I'm kind of lifting my left knee up like consistently, like I'm bending my knee back and forward, because in one of the rolls I actually tweaked my knee bad. Like I tweaked it to a point where I wasn't able to make lateral movements as much. Like any movement would hurt. So that took away my sprawling and took away my movement and my kicking. So I had a hard time with that. And you know, I never really wanted to say anything. I never said nothing to nobody because I didn't want to look like I was making excuses and like I didn't want to finish a tryout. So I just kept it to myself. But man, my left knee, my left leg was like, was in agonizing pain. It was to a point where the leg was going numb. Like I had no more feeling. Like it was hard for me to even stand up on it. So, you know, but I mean, that's me, you know, I'm a martial artist, and you know, if I'm there to compete or try out for something, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep pushing, man, because that's just the warrior spirit in me, you know, the Bushido way, you know. So I don't give up. You know, the only way I give up is when I'm not moving anymore, or there's no pulse, or I'm just completely out. Then of course, because I'm not coherent anymore. So, but other than that, I'm gonna keep fighting. So, this is the next guy I was actually rolling with too. So you know, the video that I actually think I messed up my knee. I don't have that video, but you know, I messed up my knee pretty bad. And if you notice, you know, if you watch the videos, you will see me to one of my sparring partners that I sparred with close to the end before I went into the cage. I was pointing to my knee and showing him that, you know, telling him that my outside of my knee is like, I feel kind of felt like a sharp pain in the side of the knee, to a point where I wasn't able to apply pressure on it by standing. And even, you know, as I said, the lateral movements and the sprawling was difficult. So in the grappling, I pulled off a couple submissions, a couple of the guys, you know, mostly triangle chokes, you know. So that was good, because I think you had to prove yourself on the mat through the grappling and the striking and the conditioning to be able to go into the cage. So if you didn't get into the cage, that means that you never made the pro team. So you had to get into the cage. So, you know, that was, you know, a good thing for me. So, but I see here I have the guy in my guard, and I'm just, you know, just working it, trying to, basically I'm looking for a triangle choke here. So I'm like just there, you know, basically look like I'm waiting a lot, but I'm actually setting it up. So you can see, so I'm just here trying to gain control, trying to get the wrist control on my opponent. You know, he's trying to pop out, but I have a good guard in him, so it's kind of hard for him to get out of that. So I'm looking for the triangle, I'm waiting for him to make a mistake. And if you notice how he's sitting up here, I'm just going to pop it up now. So come here, if you can see, and then I throw the leg up with the X, grab the shin and lock it up tight. So, you know, as I said, I did pretty well. You know, I submitted, I think, two or three people, I believe. So, but I think around this time, I don't know if it was around this time yet, but I think my knee was starting to give problems. it actually progressed. See, I lift that left leg. I kind of lift that left knee up because it was locking on me. They were starting to lock up, so I had to, like, each time I bend it, it would release the pressure on the knee. So I went for a shot there. I wasn't able to even sprawl anymore because that knee was just bothering me. Took away everything. Took away my movement. It took away my ability to sprawl and defend. So this is the kickboxing, the striking part. That's my partner that I train with at the gym. So they put us together. So if you notice, I'm gonna lift that leg again because around this time because this is about the end time, almost time to go into the cage. So if you notice, I'm gonna point to him. I point to him and say, hey man, my outside of my knee, it's like bothering me. See, right about here, I think. So I lift it again. I say, hey man, my left knee, man, is bothering me. So I point right there, and it's like, okay, man, I'm not gonna go too hard with you, cause so you can be able to even try your best in the cage. So we're sparring a little bit, but knowing me, I'm like, even though my knees bother me, I'm going to still kick on it and try to still, try to do the best I can. So this sparring here actually finish off my knee completely because this actually made it worse than before, which I shouldn't have even kicked, but I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not sure what was going through my mind at this moment when I was throwing kicks with it, but it was definitely bothering me. So it's moving around a little bit, just trying to do the best I can. Try to do the best I can. That right there hurt. Just that kick right there. I remember I kicked there and it was like the pain. It's like very sharp pain on the outside of the knee. So it's there, just trying to work the techniques here. Trying to prepare ourselves to go in the cage. Getting some striking in, throwing some jabs. Trying to defend, trying to land some kicks right there, some body kicks. I think he landed one here and I blocked with my elbow down. Just keeping the flow going. So, as far as the organization goes, it's just one of those things that, as I mentioned before, a lot of things you have to question and, always ask why and how and, a lot of things you do in life, it can be a setup to highlight somebody else, to raise somebody else up for their career to happen. So sometimes you can be like, just like a puppet, as I can say, for somebody else to, make themselves look good. So a lot of times you just gotta question the stuff, and if you're trying to do this as a career or trying to make money out of being a MMA fighter or a cage fighter, make sure you do your research before doing any tryouts or participating in any competition. Just make sure that you have a good team behind you, backing you, and you at least ask why and how. I just ask questions because that's a big part of it. You gotta know, the people that you're trying out with and team. So that's just how it is. So I'm just here still, just doing some striking with my partner here. And right about this time, we weren't sure if we were going to go in the cage. As I said, they want to select the people who they think qualified, but they had the people already in mind who they wanted to be in the cage, but they needed somebody to go and compete against them. So they already selected, I believe, 4 of their people from prior. Before they even came to the gym, they already had their 4 people a long time ago. So they just needed 4 other people to go against them. So that was the thing. That's why, as I said before, the guy that I went against, he came in 45 minutes late. Because as I said, the tryout here, this tryout was rigged. It was set up in a way to highlight the guys that they knew they wanted. But I didn't know that. So I was just there honestly just trying out for a protein. So that was the striking part of the tryout. And they selected their 4, and I was one of those 4, plus my 2 other training partners. And you know, to go up against their 4 guys that they picked prior, like maybe months ago. So right about now, my knee was inflamed. Very hard for me to even stand in it, and I was compensating, you know, putting a lot of weight on the right. So this is the cage fight now. They picked the 4, and the 4 that I had from way back. So I'm here, you know, my knee is killing me right now at the moment, but I'm not gonna back down, and I'm gonna, you know, say I can't fight, because that's a warrior spirit in me. I'm not gonna give up. I know for a fact if he shot at me, I wasn't gonna be able to stop his takedown, because my legs were already done. That knee was done, and I was basically just trying to hold on at this moment, just trying to do the best I can. So I'm just here, have him in my guard, just trying to control him, which I had good control over him. So the fights never really, he did any damage to me at all. I just basically just controlled him. Just was unable to use my techniques that I usually use, I usually have. Because of that, the knee was basically done. So I'm just here in my guard, basically. That's how the fight went. It's just gonna be just like what you see here, and just trying to control him as best I can. More in a defense, because just, you know, difficult to really move around at this moment. So you know, the adrenaline was pumping a little bit, so kind of not really feel the knee much, but the leg was numb. So when the adrenaline started to pump, see here, wasn't able to even defend as much. And also, if you guys know, when you're in a cage or you're fighting with gloves on, 16-ounce gloves on, it's very difficult to get a good grip on your opponent. So I do this training a lot back in the days with the gloves on, but it's difficult to control your opponent and get a good hook in or get good control of the body. So you know, get your underhooks properly, your overhooks. It's very difficult. So as I say here, just basically just a lot of takedowns, and I just trying to try to control him and just hold on the best I can. And I wasn't able to really throw much kicks really, and really movement wasn't there. So just trying to do the best I can. And you know, as I said, this guy, not making no excuses, but he came in like 45 minutes. They didn't do any warm-up, they didn't do any conditioning, no exercising, nothing at all. So that right there just let me know that this guy was already picked from way back before to compete against whoever made the tryout. So they already had the guy selected who they wanted. So just here on my back, you notice I have my leg up like that, so he won't be able to jump to mount. So I'm just, you know, here just trying to hold on and trying to control it the best I can, you know, with what I had at the moment. And that head guard was horrible. It's one of those head guards that move from side to side and move behind your head, like it goes everywhere. So I had a problem with that too. You know, I don't usually wear head guards. I don't usually wear boxing gloves either. But you know, just one of these things where, as I said, the fight went pretty good because he never did any damage. You know, there was no submissions, and you know, he was basically just trying to hold me down. Basically, he just holding me down. You know, he never really wanted to strike, which, you know, I could have striked a little bit more, but because of the takedowns, it kind of, you know, took away my striking, and also the knee pain that I was dealing with. So, you know, I just had to do the best I can, and that's how it went. You know, nothing really happened. It just trying to hold me down, and I was just trying to control him as best as I can and stop him from doing any damage and stop him from submitting me in any way. And that was basically it. So this is a video that I actually found, and back in 2010 I actually did this tryout. I was like, whoa, you know, I remember this tryout. I wish I had other footage of me training more in the gym. And I never really had cameras at the time to videotape, which I should have done, because I had some awesome fights, some awesome rules. If I find any other footage of me training, I'm definitely put it up. And any other stuff that I have just laying around, I have to search around and see. Keep on kicking, subscribe to my channel, rate, comment, check out Gichie.com. Os!